What's good YouTube, and welcome to the house. Last night, live on stream, we pulled up blazing dumpster fire, blazing Vortex, and we saw the pre-sale prices were very cheap. The pot card's at $100, John. What do you mean cheap? When we add up all the secret rare prices together, and then we multiply it by 2.4, because that's your pull rate per case, and we're gonna feel it now. Eternity Code started this. I've been warning you guys, the moment we hit a truly bad set, we'll feel the ratios. It's gonna really hurt. Here we are at a bad set. A lot of the secret rares are not pulling any value up within the set, and even at the pre-sale range, we can see a lot of these are gonna fall out. There's very few upward mobility cards. I think one is the Underworld Goddess. I think that will actually go up, and when going through here, you add it all up, you multiply by 2.4 for your pull rate, and you get around $540. Why this is significant? You then divide that back by 12 for the per box value. Vendors are only getting $45 back per box before fees, before shipping on the secret rare pulls, leaving the ultras and supers, which usually fall out, into weird value quantities. So pre-sellers are doing this bad on the set. What do you think when it's mass out there? First set of the year, too big to fail. It's gonna be awesome. We've had a bad run of product. Konami's gonna get it. And bad Starlight choices, such as Heavenly Zephyr. The Armed Dragon level 10 was kind of given. The Pot of Prosperity was given. Both of those are now confirmed Starlights as rare. And then you get into choices like Trishula, a one-of in the extra deck that has competition from the DT and the Ultimate Rare. It's just, all of them didn't come together. And the final one being Live Twin Leela Treat. That one could get some value, but why was an Underworld Goddess chosen? Even then, that would not have saved the set. I do think she has upward potential even from this price point. Tier 0 has their pre-sales up, and it shows kind of how the market is valued, even more so fairly towards pre-sales on TCG Player for one of the first times, because vendors want the set out of their hand. They don't want anything to do with it. They know you're going to buy the singles, and by that kind of prospect, this is, as the only positive kind of going for it, likely not to be in the 2021 Megatins. We have for that Ignition Assault, we have Eternity Code, we have good old Phantom Rage, and Rise of the Duelist bringing up the rear. Oh, maybe the Megatins will be awesome depending on reprints, but we have those four sets, and so unless we break the mold of the Megatins again, which has happened time and time again, this should be the first set not within those Megatins, but Konami can do whatever they want just by formulaic year by year. It probably will not be. So looking through here, we have the Starlights early, out of stock. I don't think they actually listed them. Tier 0 usually does placeholders till they have them in hand. Also on Tier 0, if you come on the site, put US dollars or whatever denomination you have. They do free shipping over 50 pounds. We see they're having the pot card a bit cheaper, around $88. You can use code WhatsGood5 for 5% off and get it even cheaper than the market. And I do feel like maybe it drips down toward 80 but sticks because it's all this set has going for it. It's a very Ignition Assault feel, kind of one for one, where other value might rise up over time, but that one big chase card's what's selling the set. Also, Underworld Goddess, they have it up higher in price on Tier 0, one of the very few times. They're pretty confident I think it would go up also, but they have it just a bit above the US market, but then you have the discount code as well. The Eldritch near 20, you have Heavenly Zephyr, a whole $10 under the TCG market. Armed Dragon Flash is also the sneak peek. Oh, my bad. The premiere event promo. You need Konami, please just fix that term. Underdog, and then the rest of them just, man, there's not a lot of value going on here, and it's kind of crazy how competitive the prices are because people just want to get rid of it. Now, they're not panic selling the boxes quite yet. They're trying to make the margins, but this feels like a much emptier Phantom Rage. Zeus feels way more impactful than a lot of what's going on over here. And now a lot of people are even talking, do we go back and buy Phantom Rage? Do you think I wouldn't be getting your singles from Phantom Rage? They're only aging, but it also is the last set towards the Megatins, which are creeping up in a weird way to say, versus when will events return. But you're playing remote duels. You're playing in certain things depending on if you're investing and trying to get that, you know, big prize. surprising. And Europe's actually rolling out a whole tournament system that I noticed isn't being covered much. Return to dueling with the playmats based on the Live/Evil Twins, huge waifu map bait that'll probably be very expensive on League play throughout entire months at locals, trying to get people regularly back out in locals. I wouldn't be suggesting to do that already. I'm going to be staying in still. I'm going to be waiting for a bit, but when conventions and other things are able to allow people back, should be interesting to see how play shakes up and prices shake up. But for now, Blazing Vortex is a complete dumpster fire, and you can see by how vendors are pricing this out that it's not a very good look. Now, speaking of cheap investments, Dual Power Dark Magician. This was brought up on stream and people were asking me, every single version of Dark Magician is going up. This is a very unique art of him. It's a promo when printing. The arts are unlikely to be redone. And in the OCG, they had 20th anniversary rarities of this. I do think it's an interesting take to maybe invest in this long term, but you're relying on Konami not to reprint the art. Also, there's tons of vendors ignoring stacks and stacks and stacks of these promo packs, waiting for the promo pack to become $5, to become $7, different price points that they'll release at. So you are facing a long quantity versus, when could this actually go up? But along with Blue Eyes, Dark Magician has a lot more people looking at unique versions. Not the worst grab, perhaps, in the world. And you can see versus the other promos, it is doing okay for itself, but it has gross quantities on market, but an interesting penny stonk nonetheless. What do you think? Are there just too many crushing amounts of this from one of the most open products of all time, a March reprint set, or being some of the last of the promos, is that more of an incentive? Oh yeah, promos, I remember those. 10 years later from now, could you be sitting on these being $10 each? Time versus money versus opportunity cost versus Konami maybe reprinting this art whenever they want. You're gambling, but it is still an interesting point that was brought up. Snipe Hunter Super Rare is pretty much up in price, along with the DT being bought out. So people looking at other past formats, I know this goes a bit further than most formats people play. I Troop Dupe, lost myself an event to this one. People have a huge love-hate relationship with this guy, but the Champion Pack versions are quite up there in price, and now the Dual Terminal has a buyout. The Alter Art, or Lost Art, for Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon Gustav Max has been bought out. People do love their trains, and another Legendary Duel Season 2 buyout. Who would have thought this set would have so much impact and so many buyouts? So as people grab their pieces of trains and other stuff there, this fan favorite archetype does see a buyout on this specific version, and it seems like people are still willing to go in on the Lost Art promotion despite the reprinting of Dark Magician Girl. I think that's a unique one-off. I think Konami did good actually reprinting that card and re-waving it in the same promotion, not just putting it somewhere else, and we see people still going for pieces of it. Stay Classy, one of my favorite people to create metal field centers. They have Ultimate Conductor Tyranno. Finally, I have one in person. It looks freaking amazing, and you have double Evo pill on the back. The first 200 will be serialized. I imagine they'll say when 200 have sold out on the page. So code WhatsGood5 works over there. High quality, amazing field centers. And the Stratos, even though you're out of the numbered Stratos, these look freaking amazing as well. So you might want to get yourself something nice or something for your Dino DNA friends who keep asking if you've read the miscellaneous source. Number 97, Draglubion, keeps going up little by little price. We've looked at this fall back out to 8 to 10, climb up towards 12, now it's at 15. Something to note, maybe you want to start looking at the targets he actually brings out and see which ones are the best, and maybe have some copies of those as well if this card keeps getting looks like that. Ghost Bell and Haunted Mansions first editions are relatively nicely priced. I think last time we peeked in it had been bought out, and now they're towards 40-ish. This is not bad. It could flounder back towards 30 as after the initial buyouts of Ghost Girls, things tend to happen with that, but this is still seeing a decent amount of play. I like the hand trap for the format myself. Not bad. Elemental Hero Absolute Zero's Jump Manga promo, well, it's not Jump Manga, actually it's GX Manga. It's really hard to get mint ones of these, and somebody noticed and bought a lot of them out. We've seen a lot of manga promo slash jump buyouts and also game promo buyouts lately. This one being a hero joins that list, and there are no near mint copies at all. There was one earlier, it looks like it is gone. Next up, more hero stuff, just a note, Division Hero Vion Battles of Legend is starting to go for the secret rare, and all versions aren't the highest, so why not get yourself the nicest version, or if you like Duel Saga cards, maybe that. It's going up. I would have it sooner than later, probably go max rarity, but unique rarity is not bad either. And finally, the end of Anubis, joining weird buyouts like Trial and Tribulation. Actually, my first ever written article for Good Ol' Hot Sauce Games was over this guy and his potential. We see there is one unlim left at market price before it's going up somewhat significantly, not many copies, and the first edition really up there at $50. A lot of people do remember this guy, have fond memories. Oh, I teched that, he's unique, and kind of a funny card. I wrote my first ever article on how this guy was underestimated. He kind of locks down the graveyard. As long as the card remains up on the field, all spell, traps, and monster cards that designate a card in the graveyard or activate in the graveyard are negated. That's pretty wild. So this card, another walking thing against stuff like, you know, Virtual World or Drytron, people trying out funny floodgates, but you're in the age where, you know, Forbidden Droplet, Imperm, we're just going to take care of him. So I also don't put the most value in putting monster bodies like that on board. That being said, what do you think of this one and everything else happening on today's Market Watch? Please subscribe if you haven't already. What are you doing if you haven't subscribed? Like the video if you enjoy the discussion. And how do you feel about Blazing Vortex early? Do you feel like there's things that are undervalued that you should be getting now? Or do you think that most of this is just going to continue to go down as people try to let it go, fire sale it? There's not really any saving grace besides pulling Pot of Prosperity and the Starlight version thereof.